The child support court.
Child support court. Remember we talked about that?
A little
Remember
bit.
we
What
talked
about it?
about that, and the lady was trying to get her baby back, and she was
Oh
messing
yeah,
up
I saw
because
that.
she was
I
just like,
saw that.
"Oh man, like I want my baby back," and
And
she's
like,
just
and
like,
then the
"But
judge
ma'am,"
like, well, who been taking care of the baby? He like, I am.
he's like me, and she
He
was like,
said, well,
"Okay,
who the baby live with? Me.
me,"
He said, well,
and she
who's
was like,
feeding the baby? Me.
"Me." He said, "Well," she said, "Well, who's paying for the health insurance for the baby?" He said,
Me.
"I am." She said, "Okay, help me understand this."
That was
She
wild.
said, "Nothing she is saying is making sense, so maybe you can help me. Why are y'all here?" He said,
Don't know.
"I don't know." And I'm just like, you got to know a little bit. Like, come on, just a tad. But I
No,
won't really
man. I
care. That white
mean,
woman was crazy.
he just got a summons to come to court.
She told him that's crazy. All right,
Mm.
let's see. So
What are you pointing at?
we're gonna still do the 5 minutes, or we're just gonna try to govern ourselves.
Man, we better put that vibe up there because every time we be governing and don't govern right, I have to blame you for that. But it ain't your fault, but I still blame you. Ain't no sense in I should take the blame. Who's gonna take the blame? Who's gonna bear the shame for you? Ooh. That song was Smokey Robinson did that song. Who's gonna take the blame? It's an interesting song. All right, so you want me to start the 5 minutes?
If you could, please, sir.
Okay, there I started.
Thank you, and welcome back to another episode of Now and Then.
Now and then. Go ahead.
All right, so we are rocking with two different concepts today, but two interesting concepts.
That is 1 and 2. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so we got Terry Crews and Cam Newton are going to be the two topics for today. Well, I guess I should say Shannon Sharpe interviews Terry Crews, and then Cam Newton on his own um, podcast, Fourth and One, which is another kind of, I don't know what you call it, like it's just another show he has besides like the Funky Friday, and he's got the Fourth
Yeah,
and
because he
One, and then
mentioned
he's got a
something
whole
about
nother
Funky
subject.
Friday. He said, "Man, I was gonna do a Funky
Because remember
Friday."
when he was doing like Charleston White and sitting
Yeah,
down with
yeah,
like Just
yeah.
Hilarious, all those people.
Okay.
That's what the Funky Friday was.
Yeah,
This
we
is
was
more
trying
of
to
like
keep our stuff separate too, man. That's hard to do,
that's
man.
hard work, man. It is. So
You got
we
to
just pretty
definitely.
much here.
Yeah.
But no. So Shannon Sharpe interviews Terry Crews, and then Cam Newton talks about the fight that he was involved in and the altercation and a little bit of the details that's
But
behind
Terry
that.
Crews is talking about when that guy molested him
Yeah, he ends
or
up talking
assaulted him,
about
sexually assaulted, whatever you
sexually
want to call it.
assaulted. Yeah.
He molested him, but we don't call it that when it's men. We say that we were groped.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got that out?
I ain't
So we're
saying
gonna
nothing.
start with.
I'm just sitting here thinking.
All right, y'all.
Uh
Look,
huh.
before we get started with any and everything, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the
Like,
channel. Click the bell when you want to be
subscribe.
notified.
Ring the bell.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start off with our good buddy Shannon Sharpe. All right, we'll be back.
Down the expendable 4 rows because of an assault and because you refused to withdraw the petition of the civil suit. Was that difficult for you, or were you standing on, as they say, not business but principle?
It was extremely difficult because I love those guys, man. We did this together. You know, Randy Couture, Dolph Lundgren, Sylvester Stallone. I call him my dad in the business. He was like, man, I'm gonna put you in this thing. And then when the fourth one came, I mean, the producer told me, you ain't gonna be in it if you don't drop this case. I said, come on, man. I said, what kind of game are you playing? Now, remember, I already been manipulated by the NFL. I never forget when I had to go home on that Monday. I had to bring back my playbook.
Right.
So you can get rid of me anytime you want. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But this was my terms. This is my Barry ain't going back. You know what I mean? This is me like, no, No, I'm not gonna nod my head yes and mean no. I mean no this time.
Right.
And I love those guys, man. Jason Statham, all of them. And I hope we can do something together in the future. And it ain't their fault.
You know, one thing that he's saying that I think is kind of cool. Man, you just got to know when to actually fight a battle.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just go jump into every situation and, especially if you're moving forward too fast, because the scriptures say that you should move slow into things. You shouldn't be so quick and swift to get involved, especially into nonsense. And there's a lot of nonsense. So I can understand where these brothers are coming from, man.
That's the truth, though, man. It's a lot. It is. It's a lot of nonsense that goes on. And something that gets talked about a little bit is size,
Oh yeah,
muscles,
yeah.
physique, however you want to call it. Everything that shouldn't be worried about in the situation people seem to cling to. That's all I really wanted to say about it. Because it's an interesting it's an interesting
Well, I'm gonna
conversation
say
to
the
have.
experience that I had when I used to exercise a lot more. And one year I just decided to see if I could build up, and it worked. But man, people start treating you differently, and they expect you to do stuff. Man, come here and pick that up. You got all the muscles. You ought to be in there, that kind of
Yeah,
nonsense.
that sucks.
And you get tired of that because you're like, man, that ain't why I bodybuild. I do this so I look good.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
But anyway, they don't get it, man. So I can understand that too.
Gotcha. Man. All right, Terry.
Uh-oh.
You know what I mean? But there was just things I have to say. Remember now, like I said, if I'm doing it, you got to know I've already counted all the costs. And I've done many, many things for free, but that meant more to me than the things I got paid a lot of money on.
How difficult was it to come out? Because you said a Hollywood exec groped you.
Yeah.
And that's not easy for a man, especially a man of your stature.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the fabrications of the stories that started being fabricated about you.
Yeah.
Did you think, because you said anytime you come out with something, you've already calculated the risk and the cost of whatever you're going to say or do.
Yeah.
Did you think you would get the kind of blowback because I don't think a whole lot of people believed you.
Yeah. I knew it was going to be strange. First of all, if it hadn't happened to me and I heard it, I'd have been like, man, what is this dude talking about? Mm-hmm. That's why I never got mad. I couldn't get mad at people going, man, what are you doing, man? Big ass Terry Crews.
Right.
But see, I'd already been through probably 8 years of therapy, me and my wife, rebuilding, me understanding what true power was, me understanding that it wasn't about how hard you see, you got to understand, in the NFL, road rage works. That works. But in real life, go to jail. Real life, hey man, you do what you did on the NFL football field, you do what you did in MMA, you're going to jail, straight to jail.
Right.
Jail full of cats that was like, I ain't taking that.
Right.
And I realized, because my wife made me promise, she said, Terry, because she, I used to have hair trigger and temper and be fighting people. And she was like, man, what are you doing? She's like, we're going to lose everything. You can't do this. You got a son now. And the son was my last one. That's my fifth. She's like, you want to be able to show him, you want to be able to be there for him, but you acting like this? And I realized something. And I said, man, there's much more power in thinking your way out of situations than fighting your way out of them.
I think that's the key point to all of this. As much as it sucks that someone has to go through a situation like this and can't retaliate how they would like